analysis of one's own learning or thinking process. Pretty much, it is literally thinking about thinking. I'm talking. Okay, we are actually thinking about our thinking process, but a question comes up. How often do we visit this? The world is a pretty busy place, and a lot of people probably would never have the time, at least that's what they think. I believe that there is a time that we visit metacognition, and that is while we are listening to music while driving. Music while driving has an excellent effect on the mind in terms of thought process and metacognition. It takes us on a journey through our past, present, and future. Our experiences in life are being laid out throughout our brain. Listening to music while driving stimulates a part of our mind, allowing us to visit metacognition. While we are driving, we 1. Observe the environment around us, 2. Analyze it, and 3. Make a judgment. We are thinking a lot whether it is right or wrong, sad or happy, or beautiful or ugly. At the same time, we are listening to music we feel speak to us or relate to us, making us think about our past, the things that are currently happening around us, as well as our future. So much is going on in our brain, making it a good exercise for our thought process. It gives us a time to reflect on our actions and our thoughts, and it may even help us solve our problems reasonably, since music while driving allows us to think so much. I remember a time where I was going through a rough patch in my life, and I had decided to go out to downtown and just have a walk around. I came across a store and I found a CD in there. It was a Catholic CD, and I went with my mom in there and bought it. And after that, I decided, hey, let's go on a drive and give the CD a try. So, while driving, we listened to the CD. We went through the hills, and we saw the scenery around us. It was very beautiful, green hills, grass, horses, and stuff. And it made me think about the hardships that I was going through. And it made me sad, but it also made me grateful for the person that I had become because of it. If I hadn't, had this time to myself, driving and thinking and listening to the music and making me think about it, I probably would still be a very, angry person and sad at the same time. But it just overall made me grateful and think about it reasonably, and look at it from a distance and look at it laid out in front of me. And I'm actually grateful for the drive that I went through, drive that I went on, and it definitely had an impact on me, in a beneficial way. With that, I conclude that music while driving definitely has an effect on our minds and thinking process, and that is beneficial for us.
Everyone has their own reason for listening to music, whether it's the relevance of their life, the memories, the genre, the beat, the melody, rhythm, and my personal favorite is lyrics. For me, lyrics are usually everything. The problem with that is, usually when I'm sober, I don't pay attention to the lyrics. Because everything that's going around me, I'm usually in a rush to pay attention to the actual potential the artist has put into the song itself. And so I decide to medicate every now and then, and usually that helps me pay attention to the lyrics. And it might sound really cliche, but under the influence actually helps open up my mind. But being under the influence actually helps me open up my mind and give it actual thought to what I'm listening to and what maybe the message was of the artist who produced the song. For me, when I listen to music, when I'm under the influence, I have a deeper appreciation for not only the lyrics, but the beat itself. For me, it ties together the whole package, and it's usually, the only time I usually get to do this is when I'm sitting in the car, as Amina said, by myself, driving from point A to point B, under the influence of marijuana. And not only do I have a greater appreciation for music, but I also like to explore more, just like I do explore with foods. I try different types of music, and I appreciate them for all the different qualities and characteristics.
Music can also affect memory. I remember when I was in elementary school, I bought my very first CD, which was a Hilary Duff CD. And I was obsessed with Harry Potter books. So every time I read Harry Potter, I would listen to my Hilary Duff CD. And till date, every time I read Harry Potter, I think of Hilary Duff, or every time I listen to Hilary Duff, I think of my entire 1 through 7 series of Harry Potter books. Why does this happen? Memory occurs in 3 forms: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory holds an exact copy of information for just a few seconds. It selects information and then gets transferred to short-term memory. Short-term memory is also called working memory, and it chunks pieces of information together. And these pieces of information are held in the hippocampus part of the brain, which is then transferred into long-term memory. This information is organized and stored for easy recovery. Music also aids storing and recall of memory for long-term storage. Studies have found that Alzheimer's patients can recall songs just like Allie in the movie The Notebook, who suffers from Alzheimer's and plays the piano without looking through the notes. This is because songs that are strongly linked to self-reported memories activates an emotional response in the prefrontal cortex. Hopefully, this can be used as a tool in future neuroscience research to prove the power of music and aid Alzheimer's results.
Have you ever listened to music? If you have, then you probably know what I mean when I say, sometimes I listen to sad music and it makes me feel sad. Or I mean, like, I listen to music that's like slow tempo and then I feel sad. Or sometimes I listen to really upbeat music and it makes me feel really happy and energetic. So how can these emotions be transported into a piece of music to the people that are actually listening to it? That concept of expressiveness in music is called appearance emotionalism. A piece of music is not sad because it feels sad, but because it expresses sadness. It appears sad. So when these artists are writing their music and recording it, they're putting their thoughts and feelings into the words. So when we listen, the reason why sometimes we feel sad, sometimes we feel happy, is because we subconsciously look for dynamic characteristics structured in a song. So that can either resemble a person's sadness or happiness, from depending on what kind of characteristics you make up. So many people have similar perceptions of what emotions in a song are, but there are people who will see things differently depending how they hear it, depending on their own experiences. But the majority have the same emotions the majority of the people feel the same emotions from a sad song compared to someone listening to a sad song and thinking it's happy. So, for example, if someone is writing a song and there's no expressiveness in the music, no emotions can be projected into a reaction of someone that's actually listening to it. So the characteristics that we look for, there are 2 categories. So the first one is segmental features, which includes the artist's sounds and tones, and the duration, amplitude, and the pitch in the music. The second category is suprasegmental features such as melody, tempo, and rhythm. The most important factor that affects the emotional expression in music is the tempo of the music. And so I'm sure that from experience you felt a certain emotion while listening to a song, but now you can understand why you feel a certain way when you listen to a song that has high tempo or a low tempo, slow tempo.
Oh, we're doing our TED Talk.
Yeah, you're in the TED Talk right now.
Oh, hi.